New, what do you call, the Sheikh gave us an example now. No more heads. Allahu Akbar. Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على مبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن سار على نهجه واتكى بسنته إلى يوم الدين وعنا معهم بمنك وكرمك يا أكرم الأكرمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Before I just get to I think it would be very nice if the brothers could, then I don't have one salam that I have to make. Bi-idhnillah. Alhamdulillah, I think last 2 weeks we have completed the purification or the Tahara chapter. Alhamdulillah, which means today we are entering the Salah, prayers, bi-idhnillah. And before I go into my topic, there are just few questions I want to ask pertaining to the topic we have chosen, the subject we are in, inshallah. And that is, there is 2 types of salahs we get. Alright? Who can tell me there's 2 types of salah? Okay? If I give you an example, if I tell you the example, already you will know it. Okay? It's better I put it there and you guys play with it a little bit. There are 2 types of salah. Farad Salah, Nawafil or Sunnah Salah, alright? Now, the Farad. Who can tell me Farad Salah? How many are in Farad Salah? You can say it? More than 5? Farad Salah, yes. Remember, don't count the ones that we do daily basis.
Each Salah, does it fall under Farad Salah?
That goes under the Sunnah Salah. Yes. You're giving people already answers now. Okay, we will try. We have 5-time prayer salah, right, that we do daily basis. Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. 1 salah. That salah prayer, we might say it's a sunnah salah, but it comes to a farad, and that is the janazah salah. For example, all of us is not capable of doing, or maybe, and then it comes to only I'm the one who's available, and there's no one else to bury this body. It's just farad upon me. I can't say no, I think there's a one person in there in Guguletu. But at the moment, where's the maid laying? Near me. Which means it's compulsory on me to make maid the salatul janazah on that mayyit and then bury him. Right? The Rasul say if the ummah 3 people or 2 take part of that janazah, it's fall off from the rest. Right? Which means that comes to farad only when there is no one to do that burial. Right? Or the janazah salah. But if we have like our, mashallah, the communities we have, then it's going to fall under the Sunnah Salah, which means it's not compulsory on you if there's other people who call complete. Alright? Then we get the Sunnah Salahs. Who can tell me the Sunnah Salah? I think there's a lot of, you can name it. You can, it's fine, I will take it. Bismillah. You don't mind? We have Tarawih Sunnah, Eid. Come again? After the Farad Salahs we done, yes. Tahiyyatul Masjid. Salatul Tasbih, Salatul Layl. Come, there's more. I need more. Uncle Muhammad mentioned already. Come again? Yeah, Nafil Salah. The brothers mentioned now, yes. What else? Yes, mashallah. Come again? Layl has been mentioned already. The Witr. Istikhara, mashallah. Very important one, mashallah, very important. I think Uncle Muhammad is focused on that salah, mashallah. Mashallah. This tashqa, tahajjud. One more, one, I'm not hearing one. Haja. So sometimes ulama say it comes under what you call istikhara, or it comes under salatul layl. One I'm missing, one. Jum'ah falls under Farad. Farad for the males. For females, yes. I think if you want to say your opinion, your side is a female, yes. It's a sunnah, Because for women's Farad is Dhuhr Salah, alright? Jum'ah if they do, it's a sunnah for them, alright? Okay?
Salatul ghaib, yeah.
Salatul ghaib. One more person, that's his janazah, it comes under. There's one salah I'm missing. Two, especially two. But if you see two of them, they come almost to the same. If you quote, you can tell me, I can then straight tell you guys. If you want to work the brain up, no problem. Bismillah. Okay. Is a salah when we're seeking for ghaith, rain. Istisqa, afwan, I never heard. Maaf, man. And the next one is when the moon and the sun darkens. Alright, yes. Alright. These salahs, most of them, it's similar to the salahs we do, Farad Salah or Sunnah Salah. There is a couple of salahs that it's a bit separate. Alright? For example, Salatul Janazah, not the similar to what we do. There's no what you call ruku' and sujood. You stand Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, then it's done. Alright? And then we get the what you call Salatul, what is this thing called? Salatul Tarawih. Salatul Tarawih is a bit different to the other because we have more raka'at. Where the other Sunnah Salahs we have 2 raka'at. The Farad Salah we have 3, 4 and 2, alright? But then the others comes to the same. Like how's the Shalatul, what do you call the Salah when the moon comes dark and the sun comes dark? They say you keep making the Salah until it's what do you call, it comes back to the normal it was, alright? And then you get the what do you call Salatul, what do you call Istikhara, similar, alright? 2 rak'ahs that you do just to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whatever you're planning on, if it's khair for you, make it easy for you, and if it's shar for you, to keep it away from you, alright? And then all these type of salahs that we have, alright? If I come to the Farad Salah, alright, remember the main one is the Farad Salah. Once our Farad Salah, it's incorrect, then our ibadah is not right. Because your key to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the rope between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Salah. Right? That's why I say the Prophet ﷺ, one of his last words was As-Salah, As-Salah, As-Salah. Because he showed the importance of Salah. Right? He never said fast, he never said Hajj. Remember, all these categories in our Arkanul Islam, there's fasting, there's Shahada, there's what you call Hajj, there's Sadaqah, there's Zakah, all but Rasul ﷺ, specialized the Salah. He said the Salah, Salah. Aisha said, I was surprised that Rasulullah would skip it, he would emphasize it a lot, right? Because the Salah, once you have that 5 times Salah, Rasulullah said it's similar to a person who took shower 5 times a day. Will you be dirty? No. 5 times if you wash, I think also you might get your original skin back. Alright? Now, the reason is that Rasulullah, the reason he brought that way is that to show you that whatever in this world that you want to succeed, first please Allah, and that is what? Make your 5 times Salah. That's what ulamas will say, do that, and then it will come to end of say, remember all doing that would be no use if you don't complete your 5 times Salah. One thing I'm going to add to that is that ulamas have agreed that if one person made his 4 times, okay, say there's 5 Salahs, right? One of it you made it intentionally, you forgot it. Intentionally, right? I said I knew there's a time for Salah, but I said let me go pyro, pick up some stuff, come back, and that Salah passed you. They say there's no use all the other 4 Salahs if you've done. There's no use totally. There is no use, which means you can't say, no, I only missed 1 Salah. No, that's a chain. It's a chain from Fajr to Isha. It's one chain. If that chain is broken, it's not connected. It's similar to it. If you if you forget intentionally your Fajr, there's no use the whole day you're praying Dhuhr, Asr and Maghrib and Isha. No use. Alright? That's why ulama say you can forget your sunnahs, you can forget anything else, but not make sure you don't forget your Farad Salah. Also another hadith where Rasulullah says, day of Qiyamah, he say one of the things that I will recognize my ummah is their Salah. Alright? It will be, you can see them from the face. Allahu A'lam in which form. Will we having a different skin or different color or different name? Allahu A'lam. Alright? Even some ulamas went to the extent they say one of the signs of Qiyamah is there will be an animal that will name you. Kafir, mu'min, Kafir, mu'min. They say they will mostly put people on mu'min is those who pray the 5 times Salah. Okay? Remember, if you look at your Salah deeply, It's like praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is seeking for forgiveness, is making a dua, alright? When you finish that salah, if you say, I'm going to translate whatever I said in that salah, wallah, you'll be amazed. You'll be very amazed. People might say, look, yeah, man, I know. I recited Fatiha, and then I recited Qul Huwallahu Ahad, and then dub. I'm finished. No. There's a wisdom behind it. There's a rahmah behind it. They're making that salah. You know, so many people, when you hear them, you know, the musibas, they say, we were two. I remember this story. It's been narrated by a sheikh called Bilal ASAD, or ASAD Bilal Amr Shua, right? Yes. He quoted, he said, it was an incident happened. He said in his time of, you know, when he was youngster, he said what happened was, there was a, what is this thing called? A youth. They were like kind of a group. He said, my mom said before I left the house, because we were planning to go somewhere to enjoy ourselves, she said, look, make sure you make your Isha. And I said, okay. I left. He said, my intention was like, no, make Isha, just forget about it, because I just obey my mom's commandments and I just go. He said, halfway, I just said, look, man, I'm passing the masjid. Let me just make my 4 rak'ahs and then continue my journey. He said, that time I came in, my friends parked the car front, they never came off. I went in, made my salah. He said, when I finished salah, I just said one time, boop. A truck hit that car. All my friends passed away. Sometimes salah can protect you from disasters also. That sheikh said, me coming to my salah, fulfill. This is something compulsory. Allah is asking him a favor to do it. No, it's a compulsory. During the compulsory, Allah also has protected him from a musibah that was coming. That's why they say, when you make a salah and you make a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that dua will go up. And the musibah that Allah has written for you to happen, they join. They start fighting and battling up there. How did they come? During your salah. People don't understand the importance of our salah, especially our community. You will see someone he's your neighbor, he's what? You just ask him, why not for performing your salahs? It's excuse, no, it's dunya. What dunya, brother? What does dunya have to do with your salah? You know, what was that ayah? Allah says in Surah Al-Dhariyat, you see, he said, the reason I created mankind and jinn is to worship me. And what is that form of worship? It's of salah. Once if you don't know the purpose they brought you to this dunya, what is the use you're living in? You know, imagine if I tell you, brother, I gave you this spot to rent, all right? You pay me per month, a certain amount. If you're going to be telling me, no, brother, I was busy cleaning your house, I could not make time to go make money to repay your rent, I won't accept that excuse. I tell you, brother, don't clean. I didn't ask you to clean here. I ask you to rent. You pay my rent and that's all. Allah brought you to this dunya to stay and then to worship Him, at the end of the day to reward you. But when you forget, you know, the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's going to happen what the Shaykh said last night. And he said, Iblis have promised Allah. He said, Allah, yes, you have written for me for Jahannam. Yes, I have to look for followers. I need to get partners in that place. I can't be alone. And that people will be who? People who just obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? That's just a short introduction of our salah and the importance of it, inshallah. As you know, salah, the Farad Salah, obviously, first thing, your intention. As we learn throughout all our classes, everything we're doing is according to our intention. All right? A salah needs minimum. For example, you're not in a place of a masjid, okay? You're not in a surrounding of a masjid. You're far from the masjid, far from the town, all right? It's you and someone else, or it's yourself. They say the minimum that you can begin a salah, it's iqamah. For example, say for example, 4 of us we left. We went to go look for something. We went to maybe say on our way to where can we go far? No. Say Durban. We're on our way to Durban. All right. Halfway down, we see the salah time for Maghrib came or Isha, and we only 4. We have 2 options. One option is to perform a full adhan with iqamah, or minimize it and make an iqamah and select our imam and lead the salah that way. Do you guys understand? Which means 4 of us we left, we have agreed, okay, Uncle Ibrahim, Bismillah, make for us adhan. Okay, Uncle Ghulam will lead us at salah, that's it. Uncle Ibrahim makes the adhan, then he makes the iqamah, and then perform it. That's a, mashallah, full complete package. Right? If we say, no, look, we don't have time to make adhan, the thing we can do is do a iqamah and then do the salah. Right? Most of the time, it's one of the Prophet's sunnahs of Rasulullah that whenever it's him or one or two, Rasulullah will always request an iqamah. Alright? Perform iqamah, that's what, Bismillah.
That is common for the males now.
Yeah.
What about the females? When they are at home, maybe alone.
Okay.
What you're saying is 3 or 4 men. But for the ladies now.
Remember, most of the salah, when you see the most pertains to men. The reason I'm saying so is, look, remember, women's when they're in surrounding of, when she's going out, obviously she's not leaving alone. She'll be with the mahram. Always there's an imam there. Alright? When she's at home, obviously the nearest place is what? The masjid. Right? People mostly what we do, to what you call, according to what you call, when you're at home, we see is either time we see, or either we hear the adhan. That's the 2 options. But if you do the iqamah, alright, here but this part, there's not a specific hadith that says, Aisha did this or the Prophet commanded the women to do that. No, there's no. But then we take, remember, when they say most of the deen comes in, oh you men, the ayahs will come, oh you men, oh you this, mostly to male. But ulama say when Rasulullah has no come a specific way of telling the women do that, then it's going to come under what the male is doing. Alright? For example, if you're at home as a female and you haven't heard adhan, it's easy, make iqamah, Allahu Akbar, ashhadu an la ilaha. It's very simple, and do your salah. Right? Nothing will happen to you. Ulama say if you forget, it's not a problem, it's not a big deal. If you forget, just having the worries of, you don't want to miss out the salah and you forget, it's not a problem. This is a sunnah of Rasulullah that he used to do, to make an iqamah before he goes into the salah. Okay? You made the iqamah, you stand, whatever you're facing, obviously facing the qibla, right? Obviously you can't do without the qibla, you have to face the qibla. To face the qibla, the reason of facing Qibla, Rasulullah, how did the story of Qibla come? Just even summarized, is that Rasulullah, they used to face the Qibla as Masjid Al-Aqsa. Right? To extend, Rasulullah start feeling a bit, unhappy with it because of the Jews. Because remember, it was also the Qibla of the Jews. Right? To the extent they say he raised one day his hands and his head up to the sama and made dua. Where the ayah came, قَدْ نَرَى تَقَلَّبُ وَجْهِكَ فِي السَّمَاءِ. You understand? In Surah Al-Baqarah. Alright? To the extent, they faced Rasulullah to Mecca. His Qibla became Mecca. Okay? That's why they say, when you go to the Haram, inshallah, whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him with it, is that all four ways you can perform. Right? You'll see people facing this way, people facing that way, people facing that way, because we all can. Alright? It's what you call permissible. Then after you face your qibla, you made your iqamah, you made your intention. Alright, remember everything's before everything. It's your niyyah, then your iqamah, facing your qibla. Then we do something called Takbiratul Ihram. Your Takbiratul Ihram is when you say Allahu Akbar. Now, saying Allahu Akbar, some people say, where does my hands start from? By the ear, by the shoulder, right? Rasulullah say 2 forms. Here, near by the ears and by the shoulder. Right? Sometimes, when you see people they perform salah, Allah, you'll be surprised. Some people they say Allahu Akbar. Hey, what are you doing? Tayammum or what? What is this? No. You start, either you measure it up with your shoulder, right? Or nearby your ears. Right? Some say to the extent they say that one of the women of the Prophet ﷺ, or the wives of Rasulullah asked him, and then he said, if you're a female, touch your ear. Alright? But that hadith, some ulama say is da'if, some they say hadith. But the best form is either measure up with your shoulder or near by your ear. Alright? Facing them the qibla. So they say don't do that form, Don't do it, your fingers far away from each other. No. Try very simple. Leave it as in their natural form, all right? And then either by the shoulder, all right, or near by the ear, and then you say Allahu Akbar. They say, if you don't utter, remember, if you don't utter, what do you call this, your Takbiratul Ihram, you don't utter Allahu Akbar, that salah is not closed. That salah is not like, when you close. When I close the door, I have to close the door. But if I say, no, I close the door, but the door is not open, the door is not closed, all right? Which means your salah to start, you have to do your Takbiratul Ihram by mentioning it, right? Some ulama say, what about if the Imam says Allahu Akbar? They say, you must hear it by yourself in a very soft way. Allahu Akbar. Right? Okay? Which means some people, you just hear, no, and say, no, I made the intention. No. There's an intention with act. All right? There's no such as intention only. That comes with intention with act, which means you face it to Qibla, you make your hands near by your shoulder, you make your Takbiratul Ihram, a sound that your ears can hear, and the person next to you can't be disturbed. He can hear you, but can't be disturbed. Not like Allahu Akbar, like if you're Imam. No. So say Allahu Akbar, something I can hear, and the person next to you doesn't get disturbed. Alright? Now I went in my Takbiratul Ihram, made it, and I put my hand on my chest. Now, Afwan, I think I'm a bit disturbed, Uncle Faiz, Afwan. Is that then when you do your Takbiratul Ihram, where does your hands go? Your hands go, ulama say, in between your two, breast, alright, here. Or they say it must be above your navel, alright, here. Which means a little bit down of your two breasts, down, alright, till here. But the good form is, most ulama has agreed, is little bit down from your breast, but you can feel them by the edges, alright, or by the edges, and then you put on top of each other, alright. But this one's not accepted. This form, no. Totally wrong. That's above your navel, alright. Some say to this form. No, that's also not right. Or also on top of your navel, no. Above your navel, alright. Do this form, okay. And try one thing also. When you do it, try, some ulama say, have a small grip on your other arm. Just a little bit firm. Some say, do it this form, it's fine. But this form, no. It's not like a fancy salah. We're not having a fancy salah here, alright? We're having a decent salah here. This, not accepted. This, not accepted. This, not accepted. This form, alright? Have a little bit grip that you can feel, alright? Your kind of rest, your arm, okay? Now I made my niyyah, I faced Qibla, I formed my, my hands to the Qibla form, nearby my shoulder or my ear, alright? And then I made my Takbiratul Ihram, Allahu Akbar. That's done. What do I recite? The dua I have mentioned our last week on Hadith, and that was two du'as. One is the one that famous that we know, the long one, is what you call, how does it start? I forgot. No. Hasbunallah, I forgot now. Mostly I don't use this dua. It's وجهت وجهي للذي فطر السماوات والأرض حنيفا مسلما, etc. Alright? If you have the other form, the easy form that I taught you the other night, inshallah, that I shared with you guys is سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك وتبارك اسمك وتعالى جدك ولا إله غيرك. Alright? When you recite that, then you recite, some ulama say, to kill off shaitan, to say what? Ista'adha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. And it's permissible. Some ulama might not put in the books, but they say Rasulullah a couple of times he uttered the isti'adha, to say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Okay? But that is only your first rak'ah. Okay, that's your first rak'ah to utter it, alright? And then you say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Then we recite Surah Al-Fatiha, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Tal Tuwalad Dallin, Amin. Now, you are behind an imam. That's another form. Imam, you came in the salah, you recite your dua al-istiftah, right? And that is, as I said, both ways you can recite. After that, You say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. You wait. The Imam have to recite Fatiha first. That I'm talking about, that's the 3 salahs. That is the, 4 salahs. That's your Isha, your Maghrib, your Fajr, and your Jum'ah. The salahs that the Imam recites, okay? Or your Taraweeh, etc. Okay? Then when the Imam says, وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ Ameen, then you automatically, when you say Ameen, you start reciting Surah Al-Fatiha. Okay? Now, you are doing your other what you call 2 salahs. That's your Dhuhr and Asr, where the Imam doesn't recite nothing. His own is private and you also in your private, alright? Now that form, when you finish your Surah Al-Dhalin Amin yourself, then you recite any surahs in the Quran. Okay? It can be anything, but they say it must not be minimum as these smaller surahs. For example, we have in A'dainaka Al-Kawthar and we have Qul Huwallahu Ahad, not smaller than them. Not reciting 1 ayah. I'm not talking about 1 ayah in Baqarah. Hell no. No, that one's another story. That one is a long what do you call ayahs, alright? Reciting 1 ayah that has maybe 14 lines or, that's another story. But I'm talking about ayahs that, you recite, for example, Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Allahu Samad, and you say, no. It have to reach a minimum stage of the 2 small surahs that we have, Allah has given us, and that's in A'dainaka Al-Kawthar and Qul Huwallahu Ahad, not less than that, okay? Then, obvious, you have completed. The Imam said Allahu Akbar, or you said it yourself, Allahu Akbar. Now, we go to this form, Afwan. Alright, now we go to the form where we have to go to the ruku', alright? The ruku', remember, when you say Allahu Akbar. How? Remember, don't forget. Not like straight down, no. You have to make your takbir again. Say Allahu Akbar. Alright? Now they say you have to grab your knees firmly. Alright? Your back structure must be firm, straight. Alright? Not this form where you go deep down, not this form where you like a little bit like, like an old person. No. Try to be in between. Okay? Some Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah says that if they put a cup of water on top, they mustn't move. It must be firm, straight. That to the extent they say Rasulullah, one of his 2 grandkids would be on top of him. Some would say like, we would be surprised that, the kid would enjoy and like, if it's like a normal pillar. No, nothing. Rasulullah would never even make any movement. Alright? To the extent where they ask, Ya Rasulullah, but why you let them go like that? He said, no, these are my 2 grandkids and I love them. And to the extent that it's permissible, if a kid goes on top of you, you can wait. Right? If a kid goes on top of you and you're making salah, you wait until he gets off. It's a sunnah of Rasulullah. Alright? If you get someone that assists you to remove, that's another thing. Alright? Coming back to my topic, okay, you make the ruku' firmly to your knee, alright? You stand strict and then you recite the dua, Subhana Rabbi al-Azim wa bihamdihi, Subhana Rabbi al-Azim wa bihamdihi, Subhana Rabbi al-Azim wa bihamdihi. Facing the place where you make your sujood. Then you come back to the back normal structure. You say, Sami Allahu liman hamida. Alright? Now you recite, as I said to you, you say, Rabbana walakal hamd. Right? Or you can utter the other dua afterward, Hamdan kathiran tayyiban mubarakan fi. Okay? But if you say Rabbana walakal hamd, it's sufficient. Alright? It's not compulsory, you have to read the extra. That's just an extra, right? Of extra thawab you're looking at. Alright? Sami Allahu liman hamida, Rabbana walakal hamd. You release your arms, your hand. Alright? Don't put this form. Alright? This is not, no. This, we're not here to make a nasheed or something. Let it go. Alright? Then you go down. And now, ulama, they say 2 forms is accepted. 2. Before I used to think that your hands have to go first. Hands can go first, they can touch first to the ground, or your knees can touch first to the ground. Alright? But remember, try to make 2 of them the same time, where your knees and your hands reach the same time. If you're a little bit, having a little bit, it's not a problem. I'm just saying, just the sunnah of Rasul. We're trying to do how Rasul, as the hadith, he said, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. Perform the salah how you saw me perform. We never saw the Prophet ﷺ, but we have gained the knowledge how he did it. Alright? Which means we will go, alright? We will go from Sami Allahu liman hamida, we released our, what do you call it, arms or hands, whatever, then you go down. Alright, afun. You go down. Try if you can touch with your hands or by your hands, alright, or you can go knees and then go down. It's not a problem. Both ways it's been narrated, alright. One has been narrated by what do you call Umar ibn Khattab, where the hands goes first, and the other one has been narrated by what do you call Sufyan, alright, where they say we saw both ways Rasulullah has done it, where he put the knee first or he put the hands first. Okay, then we go straight down. Okay, sujood. Now sujood, they say two places have to touch: your nose and your forehead. You know the reason for that? It's because they say it kills that superior. It kills that arrogant. Where Iblis have refused, as we learned last night, where he refused, they said, I'm not bowing down. We're not making sujood for Ibn Adam. Alright? That's why they say when a slave goes down and bows down, that's why they say you can never make sujood no one else other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alright? No khaliq, no what do you call khuluq that Allah has created. You can never make a sujood for them. Right? Which means when you make sujood, two places have to touch. Alright? Try sometimes, these people, mashallah, they're so in love. You see them grab, forcing their face down. No. The main thing is your nose to touch and your forehead. Alright? There's no forcing. Alright? They must touch. And then recite the dua. And that is Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdihi, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdihi, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdihi. If you are doing a Sunnah Salahs, you can exceed. It's not counted, no needed. Alright, you can say 1,000, it just depends on you. If you have time, Bismillah, you can go ahead. Alright, then we come back to setting down, the first set from your sujood. Alright, now here's the point. When you come back, okay, I'm gonna face back to you guys. Alright, your feet have to be this form. Alright, this form. This thing, not accepted. Alright, this, not accepted. This form. Alright, I think the brothers that side, I'll try to repeat. This form is accepted. Alright, where one is laying flat down and one is, I don't know how to say it in English. It can be turned. Yeah, Jazakallah khair. Alright. Now, remember that comes when, if there's an injury and things like that, that's not counted, all right? We're talking about someone who's 100% sorted out, perfect, all right? All his structures is working, all right? Now, when you said that form, you say, Rabbi ghfirli, some say Rabbi ghfirli warhamni, but Rabbi ghfirli, Rabbi ghfirli, Rabbi ghfirli. Very simple. Allah forgive me, forgive me, forgive me 3 times. Then you go back to sujood. You say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdi, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdi, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdi. Alright? Then you do the similar to the other rukus. Okay? Now you come back to at-tahiyyat, your last set. Right? Similar to how the form I showed you. Now when you're reciting your at-tahiyyat, there's this way. Rasulullah did 2 ways with his finger. The tashahhud finger, alright? The tashahhud finger, alright? Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair. My mom just reminded me something. When you make your sujood, alright? To put down your full arm down. That's not that shit, like this form. Like the dog form. No. Alright? And not, there's other also people with the they do, alright? That's what they do. Look, this, no. When you put your 2 arms in, no. Do this form. Alright? Some ulama, they say, try to balance it with your shoulder. Okay? Alright? Or some will go like this form. Alright? This form. I didn't see no narration of that form. I won't lie to you. This form where you put your whole arm out, because it also disturbs the person that's next to you. The best way is a little bit near to you, right? This form. Okay, where your arm, your fingers is measured to your shoulder. Alright? Jazakallah khair, my mom. Now we come to the tahiyyat. Okay? The 2 tahiyyats we have. The tahiyyat, the Rasulullah did 2 forms with his, what do you call, index finger. MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair. I say it always, there's a second teacher always in the class. Alright? Index teacher, alright? Now, this finger, when you're making tahiyyat, Rasulullah says, when you come to the point where you say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, right? That's when you're making your tawheed, your kalima. Rasulullah used to pull out, right? Look, this form is not right. This form, look, this form, where you do this, no, that's not right. Close up. Close all your finger, this form, alright? And then there's another form, other riwayah where Rasulullah did, where he moved his finger. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasul, until it ends. Until you end your tahiyyat where you say, what do you call, fil alami innaka hamidun majid, alright? Then you say assalamu alaikum. Now when you say assalamu alaikum, this form, no. Absolutely no. There's movement here? No. You keep on that frame. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah to your right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah to your left. Now you release. Alright? You release.
You have to keep your finger until
you make your both, yes. Your both salahs. Sometimes you will see someone pull out like this. From the 5 fingers, say, hey, my indicator is on. They are put it back. No. You have to fold your whole 4 other fingers, right? And then show the indicator. There's a form I saw this way, alright? I won't lie to you, I never saw. Hadith of Rasulullah.
Like this.
Where?
Like this, like I'm keeping my hand.
Like this?
No, not up like
This?
forward like this.
To fold is.
Forward here.
Yeah, I'm showing you this form. Yeah, this form. As I said the first time, there's 2 ways, alright? This form where you pull it out, face to the straight, there's no movement, alright? And the other form is where you move it, alright? And that part only comes when you make the what do you call the kalima, where you say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad. There's no worthy of words except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Prophet is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Alright? Now, you came, you finished, you said Innaka hamidun majid. Alright? Now you come to the exiting the salah. Alright? And that form is, they say, make sure your chin gets closer to your right hand shoulder. You say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Pause a little bit, less than a second. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. There's one default that I see with our musallas is that we say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. No, there's no pause in it. There's no this form in it. No. From the right straight to the left. Okay? To your left hand shoulder. And that's it. Okay? There's also another fault I saw. Okay? And that is when we say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, they stop. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. No. From there, it's a kind of a slow motion to the exit out. Okay? Now you finish your salah. Okay? When you finish your salah, most ulama has agreed to it that Rasul ﷺ, even if it would be the time of battles, even in any form, alright, Rasul ﷺ will never jump up from his position. Even if they tell him severe problems, Rasul ﷺ will utter 3 things that would be Astaghfirullah, 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 Allahumma anta salam wa minka salam, Tabarakta ya dhal jalali wal ikram. Then he would move and do his things, alright? As the Sahaba said, we never saw Rasul ﷺ would finish a salah and would just go. There must be a supplication that he utters to fulfill his salah. Okay? Now we come to a point where the Imam said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You don't follow the Imam. Which means when the Imam says Assalamu alaikum, you don't follow with his cheek. You wait the Imam to turn a cheek. Which means, for example, Mulana Zaid said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Me as a musalla behind him, now when he changes cheek, I change. After he reached to the right hand side. Some ulama say, wait until he comes back to the center. Right? For example, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum. That point where it is, you turn your right. Alright?
When the Imam starts the other side.
To the right or the left?
You first go right.
Yes.
So when the Imam does the second salam,
then you start. That's one opinion of ulama. The others say no, wait until he gets to his shoulder, right hand shoulder. When he say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, then you change, then you go. All right. Some ulama say wait until you come to the center. When you came back from the right hand shoulder, then you go to your right hand shoulder and you exit salah. That's form. All right. Okay, I can't sit this more longer. Let me just change. You know, when you're chubby, that's a problem. Okay. Now you come back. You have done that. All right. That is your Farad Salah. Similar to the normal Salah that we do, your Sunnah Salah similar. All right. Yes, Bismillah.
Sorry, Mom. We have, ladies have a few questions here from the ladies.
Yeah, Bismillah, Bismillah.
Listen to my okay. The one is when you started in the beginning, when you started, when you did Allahu Akbar.
Yes, yeah, Takbiratul, yes.
Does that now apply for the ladies as well to keep your hands open in this manner? So,
Remember, some ulama they say, right, that if it's a female, okay, they say to perform it, it's a very nice if you do it under your hijab. For example, in case if you got one, inshallah, all right. If you don't have, it's not like you're gonna say, oh, what if I don't have, must I do under my scarf? No, you just have to do it there, perform, all right. For example, now I have a hijab, okay, you put it in. That's just for the protection of the aura of a female. Because remember, at the end of the day, when a man go visit a female to proposed by a family, Rasulullah say he has the right to check her her hands, her feet, and her face. Alright? That shows you that these parts are what you call aura also. To cover them is perfect. That's why ulama have agreed, most of them said, is that try to do your Takbiratul Ihram if you're in a masjid, in a public area, under your hijab, the people don't see you. If you have glove, mashallah, you can do it, it's no problem.
keep it as close as possible to your body.
Yes, remember, we still, similar to men, there's no much difference, alright? You find ulama say they come more closer to your here. I haven't seen no narration goes there, but the only narration I saw is the male one. That form is that shoulder up, your fingers with your shoulder, alright? Which means your Takbiratul Ihram, Allahu Akbar, alright? This form also Rasul has done it near by your ears. We say Allahu Akbar. Most important is your hands are facing Qibla. Okay? Not such a thing like this and all that funny things. Okay? Any other questions? Yes?
Yes, I have. And you know, the one in the sujood where you like keep your not so far out, you must keep it together like close.
Yes. Like as I mentioned, you see this form. Okay? This form where you disturb people like this. No. Just, yes. More comfortable and more neater. And this form is not accepted. Alright? Where you put your two arms in your chest. And no, that's not accepted. Okay? And your Takbiratul Ihram that's way. Yes,
Then the other one is about the when you follow the imam in Farad Salah, where you say it's allowed when the imam reads, does one still have to read your Takbiratul and your Fatiha and the surah?
Remember, it depends on which salah you're reciting.
The one where the imam is reading loud.
Loud, then mashallah, good question. What you do is then you don't recite a surah afterwards. Remember that what do you call where you have to recite the extra surah after Fatiha, it only comes to these what do you call two other salahs, the two silent salahs. Others, it's the imam took the responsibility automatically. Which
One has to then on your own read the Fatiha.
Fatiha. After that, when he finishes Fatiha, you do what do you call the other Fatiha. Yes. And other questions? Yes.
Yes, and then also the other thing was about which side does the soft start?
The soft. Okay. They say, Rasulullah is a hadith where he say, for men, the good to begin is from the front, and the female is the last. Okay. The imam, if for example the imam, it's as I mentioned earlier today, we say for example 2 or 3 or less than 2, 1 from the imam's right hand shoulder. Yes, right. You get the imam. Some ulama they say 1 step behind the imam. Some say try to make sure when his feet is this, your feet must be this form. Alright, try to do that way, but on the right hand side. Okay. Some say that, for example, you'll see the masjid becomes full, alright, but now the mihram of the masjid don't have this form. Which means if I don't find no space here, I can go to next to the Imam on his right hand side, alright? Where I can go next to him and then the Salah continues that way, okay? Any other questions? I just want to go to the other type of Salahs. Yes, Bismillah.
Okay. Let's say I came late to
Salah,
Yeah, they was like,
following up.
Following up, okay. Remember, it depends on what you missed. Okay? For example, I came for Salatul, what do you call, say I came, the Isha Salah I came now, alright? When I came, one rak'ah missed out.
Yes.
Okay? I missed out one rak'ah. Now the Imam went, I just followed the flow, alright? Because when I came, Mulana Zaid was in the second rak'ah, we were reciting Ya Ja Nasrullah al-Fath, alright? I went after him, I continue, which means that part where I recite the Fatiha afterwards, blah blah blah, the next rak'ahs, alright? Now he made the what do you call the two salams, alright? Where he exit the salah, Assalamu alaikum. Now, here's the point. When he says Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah on his right hand shoulder, and he come automatically to the middle, you as a musalla have two. It's either you finish the salah with him, you went to exit out, or you have a remainder rak'ahs that you have to do. When he comes to the middle, right, you automatically stand. The other also form is that when he went to his first cheek and said Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, that form, you stand up and do the balance. Now for example, I had one rak'ah short, I do one rak'ah. Alright? I had two rak'ah short, I do one rak'ah, make tahiyyat, and then I do another rak'ah.
The question is, there's different forms of positions. So what position can I follow up?
Position in which form?
yeah, sir,
The sitting.
I somebody 800. It was my question. If you're in a ruku, when you come late for Maghrib, for example, and you finish with your qiyam, you go into the ruku, and then at which stage can you just follow the imam?
Okay. Remember one thing. If you are in a ruku', I came and the imam is in a ruku'. Alright? If I come in a ruku' and I came, Allahu Akbar, I went in the ruku', I have been counted for that rak'ah. That rak'ah is counted. It's counted. Remember, the imam.
So I can just follow immediately.
You can follow immediately. You will find people that wait the imam to go down, up, until he comes up. No, that's not right. Even if you see imam is in a sajda, follow him in sajda. But that rak'ah is not counted. The rak'ah counts when you get the imam on standing or doing ruku'.
Okay.
When imam you come on when he's doing ruku', sometimes look, some imams, mashallah, you will see, it's like they have a sensor or they following up what's going behind. You will see when they come to ruku', they just prolong it. They just wait. You hear someone moving like steps, they will give it a time. Right? When the person comes in ruku', say Allahu Akbar, Subhana Rabbil Azim wa bihamdihi, Subhan. Even if I say Subhana Rabbil Azim wa bihamdihi and the imam stands up, still that raka'ah is counted for me. Okay? Bismillah. Afwan, let me just help. Yes.
The point being that if the imam is out of the ruku, you've missed that rak'ah.
Yes, if he comes to what you call, back to what you call standing structure, automatically you miss that
Because
rak'ah.
both done.
Then you have to cover up that rak'ah. Yes. Mulana Zaid, Bismillah. I think now my mom's asking me, Allahu Akbar. Bismillah. Counted. Alright. Okay. The hadith where I recited, I see it's been narrated by almost 11 companions of Rasulullah. Okay? Which means it looks like a muttafaqun alayh. It's a hadith that's. Come again? Afwan, maaf. Muttafaqun alayh is when you say Imam Muslim and Bukhari. Afwan. Jazakallah khair. Sometimes words you also get. It's almost, they say, if you read the hadith, it's 11 companions of Rasulullah. Most of them are the ones that Rasulullah said they are Ashratul Mubashirina bil Jannah. One of the 10, which means Abu Hurairah saw it twice by Rasulullah. Which means that narration can be what you call, right? But to the hadith that I recited, right? Because remember, most of the hadith I try to bring to you guys, it's always Muslim and Bukhari. Because they are more more famous, all right? How can I say more famous in that form, all right? That we use it these days. You'll get hadith like, Tirmidhi, Abu Dawood, what do you call Majah. Also, these are authenticated. But, one act that Rasulullah did has a lot of ways that he have done it. All right? One way of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's done it a lot of ways. Which means what the Imam say, it's another authentic hadith. But the one that I saw that when they describe the Salah of Rasulullah, they say Rasulullah would come, all right, as they say, one of the hadith I just mentioned to you guys, that he said, Umar ibn Khattab says, Ya Rasulullah, I came, all right, after you are in the ruku', and then, they were so honest with the Rasulullah, they would even explain to him the reason he came late for the Salah. He said, I went there and I was doing that and I was doing that. It took me long. When I came, I saw you are in ruku' and I followed the ruku', and then after I did a qada. I have, covered up that rak'ah. Rasulullah said, if you came to that stage, he said, you can continue and it's been fulfilled.
The problem or the difference, not the problem. The difference comes with the madhabs.
Again?
Madhabs.
The madhabs,
But the key is with what you said, that if the hadith is mutawatir, it's the highest form of authenticity.
Remember, when you see a hadith, right, inshallah we will reach that stage, inshallah, where you see a hadith where the companions of Rasulullah, all of them obviously have their standards and their higher, their virtues also. But remember, also the companions itself have a different stage, all right? As Rasulullah said, if Allah would send a prophet after me, would be Abu Bakr ibn Siddiq radiallahu anhu, all right? That shows you that all Sahabas will say, if we see Abu Bakr doesn't do that form of action, then we know exactly that Rasulullah did it, all right? That we knew that Rasulullah, he was the next person to Rasulullah. As it comes, Umar ibn Khattab, Uthman ibn Affan, Ali ibn Abi Talib, come on, forward. And then Rasulullah also mentioned Ashratul Mubashirin, the 10th that, that Allah is granted them Jannah, that's been mentioned while they were alive, okay? And then you get the Tabi'eens, that, narrated more hadith of Rasulullah. All these are in, which means if today you hear 4 companions, right? Say for example, it's Umar, it's Uthman, it's Ali, and it's Abu Bakr Siddiq. 4 of them narrated one hadith that shows you that hadith, it's firm. So which means this hadith, what comes after it, this will be the first hadith. Like the first hadith, when we open our books of hadith is, we say, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. The first, and no one narrated the hadith other than Umar ibn Khattab. He's famous in the hadith, all right? Some companions will be famous on a hadith or because of the status of the Rasul in the time of the Rasul, all right? Any other questions?
Sir, for example, during Tarawih,
Yes.
I missed now my Salah, and I feel busy with Tarawih. So I've seen a lot of people sometimes do side effect. It was allowed to make you near for Isai, then follow the Tarawih.
The Imam, yes. Some ulamas, they say, try when you're following the Imam that he's in the first 2 rak'ahs of it. Right? For example, now I came, the Imam is already by the 2nd rak'ah. Ulama say you can follow, it's not a problem. But they say it's very nicer if you would know, like, for example, Tarawih, it's, every time we do 2 rak'ah, 2 rak'ah, 2 rak'ah. They say if you come and you see it's his first rak'ah, join it with it, then at least it can cover up the first 2 where you don't recite.
Right, yeah.
You see that surah afterwards, and then after when you finish the salam, you stand up and do your other 2. Right?
You have to make you near for Isai.
Yes. Also, add to this, Jazakallah khair, there's something came to my mind. For example, we invited a scholar to our masjid. Our scholar is from somewhere out of South Africa. He's a musafir, a traveler. Now we said, no, Sheikh, you're our Sheikh, we lead our salah. Remember, musafir, if it's a 4 rak'ah, it becomes 2. Which means when he does his 2, automatically we'll say, Assalamu alaikum. The whole jama'ah have to stand up and fulfill the other 2 because we are Ahlul Bayt. We are from the city. Okay? Jazakallah khair. Also, it gave me a click to my reminder, inshallah. Any other questions? I was trying to go to the Sunnah Salahs. Maaf. After that, it's you, inshallah. Guaranteed.
The first one, I was trying to come in here. The one where they said that if they come in and the Imam is in ruku, right? So the Imam is in the first rak'ah and you in the ruku, and then what you're saying is that rak'ah is accepted and finished and done with. And now you're going to the second rak'ah, you read the Fatiha and the surah, and then you sit tahiyya, and in the third rak'ah, then should the Musalli not again read another surah afterwards the Fatiha? And to get that, should you not read two surahs in the
Remember, you must out anything. Let me give you a very simple way. You must out any rak'ah, okay? When you stand up, you recite Fatiha. It's not like you recite, no, when I came, I must out the second rak'ah from the first. So we say Isha, alright? It's like, I don't want to stand up and say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, ad-Dhalin, Ameen, then I say Qul huwa Allah ahad. No. Fatiha, automatically go to ruku', right? For the reason is that you are just covering it up. Alright? It's not like you're going to full, because remember, you must out.
I mean, that is not the arkan. That the surah after surah Fatiha is not the arkan, so it doesn't invalidate the salah.
See, the thing is, mashallah, Uncle Ibrahim has learned something, is that I'm trying, if I put that, the arkans on you guys, it might be a bit harder, and that's why I'm trying to make it a simpler way. Okay, but Jazakallah, always, I always say, there's always a backup plans I have. Jazakallah khairan. If I come back to Uncle Suleiman, because I'm trying to teach you our thought. Maaf.
Say Salatul Fajr.
Fajr, naam.
You miss the kunut. Do you do it yourself or just like this?
Okay. Okay, we need to be speaking honest here, right? I think I will be mahfud my mulana, alright? Alright? The qunut is not that something Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did it. Right? Remember, we are doing what Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did. Right? Which means, if there's something added to it, remember, qunut mostly it's in when we have these kind of things like, the Taraweeh, after, because remember, Taraweeh is a Sunnah Salah. Sunnah Farad Salah. In a Farad Salah, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, whatever he done it, it's all in a hadith. Okay? Okay. Yes, Bismillah.
With regards to that now,
Yes, no problem, no problem. No, it's fine.
you see, people, because we grew up in this environment of
Naam.
making kunut in Fajr, which the Khulafa Rashidin, none of them did prove in the position of Imam Shafi'i. But the thing is that when it comes to kunut, in ordinary salah, it's kunut nazila. In other words, in times of calamity where there's a need for something, there was a big happening or what, you should do it in every salah, not only Fajr.
Remember now, COVID came. Right? We had COVID. Right? Haram, every salah they were doing qunut. I'm talking about the jar salah. Salah that you jar. Alright? They were doing qunut. Okay? Yes, like when when it's like a war, when we have all these problems that we have, right? Just to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take that calamity and that problem out, okay? But if we are in, alhamdulillah, peace and there's now no harm in it, alright? For example, let me continue what Uncle Sulaiman said. That comes, you missed out the no, you don't need to do qunut. You don't need to repeat qunut. Because remember, we're looking at the asl. Remember the original of it, right? Because remember, as you said here, if you missed a rak'ah, the first two rak'ahs, the second rak'ah of the first two, you missed out. Remember there you were reciting, after surah you were reciting a surah behind it. But now when you came up, you never recite that surah, you just recite Fatiha. Right? That shows you only the farad you will repeat. There are things that you have missed out, okay? Any other questions? Because I want to go past to the other salahs that I want to do, inshallah.
The question that Sulaiman asked was
The qunut.
with regard to the qunut.
Sulaiman, Uncle Sulaiman,
In the books of fiqh that we were taught locally, you would find they separate the sunnah into hay'at and ab'ad. Now, if it falls under ab'ad, say you must make
Sujud sahwi,
for that to compensate if you forget or something like that. So, but that also not it's not consistent.
Remember, sujood is-sahw, alright? The sujood that you do in case of any mistake or any doubt you have. Not only mistake. So I did my full 4 rak'ahs, but now I'm having a doubt. Hey, I did the second one from after the tahiyyat. A doubt, to kill that doubt, sujood is-sahw. You go back to it, alright? Okay? But remember, if I come back to Uncle Ibrahim, the same thing. Remember there's something here that's called fard. Alright? If this thing is not fard, to do a sujood sahw is not compulsory. Because this is fard. The reason it says fard is because it's compulsory. You have to do it. And then to do it, if you made a mistake, there's a sujood sahwi to cover up the mistakes you made or the doubts that you had. Alright? Which means, you can have all these doubts, maybe in the salah, maybe sometimes sometimes even you have a doubt, like you recited your surah, you recited your fatiha, then you come to myself. When you went to ruku, you're like, have I recited the surah after the fatiha? It's just waswas, alright? Continue, alright? Because already in ruku'. So you can come back and say, oh no, let me recite my surah back. No, you already, because remember, when you come in salah, you made an intention of fulfilling your salah. Which means when you're in a salah, try to make all your focus to know what you're doing. Not go in there to dunya, because you came out of dunya. You heard, Hayya Al Falaagh, Hayya Al Salah, just leave that dunya behind you, okay? Any other question, because I need to quickly wrap up the other sunnahs, more sunnahs. Alright, the two teachers now. Must I wrap up specific guys? Bismillah.
I'm not putting you on the spot.
Okay.
When you maybe lead us in salah.
Yes.
And you finish with salah, and then you never make a dua.
Dua. Mm-hmm.
We are grown up, that the imam will make salah.
Okay, let me tell you something, Uncle Ulam. Okay, very briefly. Dua, Rasulullah never made a jahr dua. Louder, front of the public. All right. Only in a time of where he would stand up from his from his salah, and after he finished salah, and say, look, there's a problem we're having. This, we need a charity, we need this, and then he would utter dua afterwards. But remember, the reason I'm trying to gather up all these knowledges is because just to show you, did the Prophet do it or you haven't done it? All right. Whatever you haven't done it, you do it, it's not a problem. But me, I want to show you how the Prophet did it. All right. That's why always, how we've been raised, mashallah, not only by dad, by our teachers, is that try if what the Rasul did exactly, do it. Or not, we're not the Prophet, but try it, right? This form is not being something that's been narrated by the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, but let me finish my word. Let me finish. Afwan. I think tonight this topic is going to be a long topic. SubhanAllah. I think we're going to be staying here for long. All right. The reason why is that we're trying to do what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. If we haven't done it, then I'm going to stay away from it, because there's no use. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he loved the deen more than us. He loved to be closer to Allah more than us. Alright? Even Allah told him that you don't have no sins. You've been cleared. But he will still stand up and do form of action. Bismillah. I think that hands is also kind of giving me a light there. Bismillah.
Yes, ma'am.
Bismillah.
I'm sorry, but I have to ask you something which I do not know if Muhammad
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did.
The ladies are asking now, can you please demonstrate how to do the salah on the chair?
Salah on the chair. Okay. Remember, I think then I have to cut out all the other Sunnah Salahs. Then we can do it next week, inshallah. Okay? Yes, you can tell me then while I'm doing my.
With regards to the dua after the salah.
Yes.
That the thing that if you will not speak to any imam, they will tell you they know that you're not. That's not the sunnah of the Nabi to make the dua.
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
They do it so that people can learn
MashaAllah.
the dua. You understand? But you can only learn for so long. You can't be 50 years old and you
cannot make a dua.
Yes,
say
no.
dua every day.
Exactly.
You must let the people know that this is not the purpose of it. You understand? You can ask any sheikh. They will tell you they learn.
Right, Sheikh?
Okay. Yeah.
qof kasta saa dhankiisa oge saasuu rasuulka dadka ugu daya calayhi salaatu wasalaam in ay ducaystaan marka salaad laga baxo qof kasta sida uu rabbigiisa ha ducaysta ilaahay ha baryo afkiisa ku ducaysta maanta kan carbo dhigtaan.
Okay, but the point that my mom just raised here is, remember at the end of the day, everyone has a teacher at home. Okay, bear with me, bidinillah al-kareem. Alright, is that also the hikmah behind it, that the Prophet ﷺ could not make the dua after salah, is that everyone don't have the same problems. Alright? Remember, everyone don't speak the Arabic also. Here, what we don't recite Afrikaans here dua. We recite Arabic dua. Alright? Most of us, it's hard to pronounce it. But now when you put out and say, this is the first you start with, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, oh Allah, this and this and this, or in Afrikaans or any other language, Allah is already understanding. Because He is the one who knows what's in your heart. Okay? Which means that's why the hikmah behind that, Rasulullah have not done dua after what you call salah, is that everyone can seek and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself. Not a wasila, not a way of form and say, look, only if the dua, the shaykh doesn't make, then that dua doesn't. Sometimes you'll see, right, there was a lot of masjid we went for making salah, right? Then we give the mic, mostly we give it back, right? Sometimes someone else will take. And then you see the committee or one of the members of the masala will come and tell you, Akhi, no, what did you give other than a person, other than the Maulana? If you couldn't make the dua, give to the Imam, man. The Imam has to make the right proper dua. How do you know his dua has been accepted? How do you know? The dua must come from you because you're the one who's in need. Imam might not have the problem that you're having. Maybe he needs a luxurious car, but you having a problem with putting a bread on the table, are you going to be the same? No. Then automatically, it's so nice to make the dua yourself and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala you.
Sorry for interrupting.
No.
And most of the du'as that been narrated in the hadith is in singular form, by the way.
Yes. Yes. Inni. All this comes to for yourself. Which means now you say inni, the shaykh is saying inni, and you just say amin. You make it. The shaykh is making dua for mostly himself. But mashallah, the hikmah behind it, Rasulullah made dua where he said purely where the noon and alif, na, and that is us, alright? But all these du'as, even in the Quran, when you look, see, it's always what you call me. It's that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you can. Even the dua when they, what do you call the Ambiyas they made, is dua from themselves, right? Oh Allah, make my ummah. He means that His followers, alright? If I come back to my what you call way the salah for the chair, okay? Most from the beginning is similar, this form. Just want to give you a very small story, not a story, a small what you call note that remember to the extent that Rasulullah said the person that cannot even move anything, he must make salah from his eye. You do that form where you say, okay, I made my Takbiratul Ihram, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. To the form you close your eyes, even going down, to show you that salah is so important. You can't miss it out. There's no excuse. The only time there's an excuse is when you're under that ground, right? Or when you are in a time where you unconsciousness, you're sleeping, when you took a medication, all right? Even if you're ill and you're alive, and as that breath goes in your consciousness, you know what's going on. Salah is wajib on you, all right? Now you come to the part of, okay? First, ulama say that your toes face the qibla, not this form, not that, no. You're standing in a form that we use salah. When I stand my salah, obvious that we have the toes face to the front end, all right? Now, obvious we make the niyyah face the qibla, and then we make the takbiratul ihram, okay? This form. The main form we're coming to it is when we're going to the ruku', all right? Ruku', ulama say, try to bend your chest a little bit down, all right? Say Allahu Akbar, Subhana Rabbil Azim wa bihamdi, facing down, not facing you guys, facing down, all right? To where I'm going to make my sujood. And then, Sami Allahu liman hamida. Okay, now I'm going to what? Sujood. In a form of making it near that my hands is touching. Alright, this form. But now, not in that position of the ruku', a little bit down, alright? Ulama say, even if you can't move your body, try even to make little bit, even nodding your head a little bit down, just to, even if the structure,
If between the ruku' and the sujood, the knees always remains here on the knees.
Yes.
The hands, sorry.
The hands, yes. You have to.
Don't go like that.
Remember, when you say Sami Allahu liman hamidah, alright? Sami Allahu liman hamidah. Bring it back to here, alright? There's one form that just came to my mind, afwan, that the Rasul also sallallahu they did once only. He done it once. And that is in the form of prayer. From Sami Allahu liman hamidah, where he put back his hands to the chest. That's another riwayah. But the Rasul said one hadith, and it's only one companion that narrated the hadith, and it all went on his chest, right? Which means from the Sami Allahu liman hamidah, Rabbana wa lakal hamd. Okay? It's okay. Even if you're sitting, if you're standing, both is normal, right? As Uncle Ibrahim said now, it's not like you have to keep it somewhere else, your hands, or release it this way, because remember, we said when you're standing, you relieve your arms. But this form, you have to put it back here. Okay? Now you go to sujood, you go down, right? Trying to be a little bit lower than the ruku', okay? And then the other form where you come, the tahiyyat, you put out your finger out, or move it out like that, okay? There's not much changes other than the ruku' and the sujood, just to make that form.
There is a difference. You sit now the whole time. You get some people that
Stand,
and
sit,
But the thing is, if you sit like that, the back of the chair should be in line with the heel of the people, and you must remain sitting.
Yes.
You can't get up.
Okay, that is when is you doing what you call a jama'ah with men, all right? But the question came from the sisters where they said the chair, all right? Okay, and I just gave a picture of a sister that's at home that is going to perform or auntie.
Yeah, sorry, Mark, but also even if we are
In the masjid, in the jama'at, similar to what Uncle Ibrahim said.
when we were in Tarawih and all that, then the chairs must be in line with
The back
staff.
of the chair.
Yes. Remember, try only one thing.
And
Okay.
also, do you sit one time all the time, or do you stand? sit,
No,
stand,
that is, it depends on your condition of your health.
So you
Remember, which means if I can stand, remember one thing, also put this in your mind, that if you know you're capable, for example, Tarawih, you can sit. Even if you're a normal person that you want to do your Tarawih, just the love of the Sunnah of it, you can stand. Even if I'm me as Muhammad, if I'm just feeling a little bit tired, right? Remember, this is Sunnah, it's not Farad, right? This is Sunnah. I can sit on here, right, and perform. Even your witr, I can sit and perform what you call, sitting on the floor, I can do my what you call witr, right? But your farad, if I know maybe I can a little bit struggle to perform that salah, that 4 rak'ahs, it's good than sitting. There's a thawab, there's an ajr. If I'm gonna put a little bit effort in it to show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala my humbleness and my lenient. Bismillah.
My point that I'm making is that if you're going to stand, the chair can't be in line
With the saf of the feet.
the side,
Uh-huh.
the back of the feet, or the heels of the people.
Your feet.
When you stand, you must be in line with the people, and the chair is going to be a little back.
That's why also Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah has been asked a question where he said if you have, remember, in this form of I'm going to sit, it's already the intention that you made. Which means when you made an intention, they say make a saf, try to correspond to the saf that you are. Which means your feet next to the brother's feet, right, or to next to the sister, but the chair must be behind the line where I'm going to make. And only the position where the brother is going to ruku', because sometimes people they stand and they do ruku', the only sujood they do on the sit. They sit down when it comes to the sujood. Alright?
A little bit backwards.
Then yes, which means, say for example, here's the line, my chair will be a little bit behind. Alright? Where when I know my feet is this way, I know my Uncle Ghulam when he stands similar. We're standing next to each other. Alright? And the chair doesn't disturb.
But you must get up now.
You must get up. For me, yes. When I stand up, right, and Uncle Ghulam stand next to me, Uncle Ibrahim decides must be similar. Only when I sit, right, then obviously their feet is change the position. They won't be the same, similar, right? In the Haram, you will see the big posters similar to that form where Uncle Ibrahim now just reminded me, alright? My mom, Bismillah. Okay, yes. Similar to what I just said now, if you put an effort to stand, when you know you have little bit, you will feel a bit of pain, but you put that effort to stand and fulfill your salah in the right way, alright, it's different to a person that sat, alright? Remember, it comes in two forms also that way. Right? One is that this person can't even stand. Obvious, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it easy for him, alright? Which means he could stand up, but he can't. He can't move any part. He can only sit. This whole part is lam or isn't working anymore, right? Then he gets the same ajr as the person who's standing. I'm talking about the person who have a little bit. He's just having a fear. Now he's like, no, I can't capable, but I might have later. I'm scared. There's a pain coming up on my knee. Let me just do a sit down.
And the other question is it as factor?
Yeah. لكن هاي مين بتشتا عفوا I just want to explain to mom something guys هاي مين بتشتا هذا حبيبي هرمك آخرين ما عرفته الشيخ عش وحو يري qofka hadduu maaragtay dee kursiga caadi ku fadhiisto dee xanuun ilaahay dart u keeno maaragtay qafa u dhamaystiran laakiin qofka maaragtay cabsi ka qaba qofkaas way qofka half ka ajarkiisa. Okay, mom is saying that I must explain that. Remember, the person that can do this full salah is just having a fear in case, right? Won't have the same ajr as the person who completed the full salah in a standing, right? I'm not talking about the person who has an illness that, you know, it's been written this person can't stand, or if he stand he will have a forever painful, then that person has the same thawab as the person that stood. Bismillah.
When you're sitting and you keep your hands, so when you sujood, is it the fact that you are bringing your body, your head low down, or that you put your
This symbol I have to go in. This is your symbol, okay? Remember, when I'm doing ruku', I'm like this form, alright? Always, there's signs that show the person which position he's in, alright? This position, when I do this form, where I hold my knees, automatically you will realize that I'm doing a ruku'. Sujood, I don't do. Even if I'm doing normal sujood, I won't touch my knees, alright? My knees go to the floor. In a sujood form where my hands will face to the ground, and me, I'm more lower now from the ruku' side, alright? Is it fun? Which means, look, can you see? This part is on my knee, alright? To show that my hands, someone comes to me now, someone comes to me and sees, it's like, okay, now Muhammad is in. No, this form, no. That's form, and
So
all other forms.
Mainly on your knees, basically.
Yes, when after you come back from Takbiratul ihram, alright? When you're done and you're back from the, which means we're waiting for your tahiyyat. Yes, Uncle Sulaiman.
So you use medication.
Yes.
You feel drowsy
Yes.
and you feel comfortable sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Drowsiness, does that cause your Farad Salah to be batil?
No. Remember, look. The time of the companions of radiallahu anhuma, alright? They would have injuries, alright? And then take medication. Some medication they will use as like the ones that you know they'll take that you will be unconsciousness. They will go to the extent and say, no, I don't want that, right? I don't want that. It's better I recite salah, right? And then in that salah will make me not feel anything. Some ulama, they say it's a source of what you call medication. When you use something that you know that will take your consciousness away, you can't even feel whatever they're doing in your body, right? Which means if now I have a fear, right? I'm feeling a little bit dizzy, but I want to perform my salah, right? Sometimes there's people who say that whenever I go in salah, they ask Sheikh, I go in my salah, I see myself at the end of the day, I'm laying on the floor. Have I completed my salah? Some ulama go to the extent and say, no, if your first intention, the last time your consciousness was you went in salah. For example, I went in salah, say I was way in the ruku', I collapsed, alright?
I think that it depends from person to person.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It depends, like, sometimes some people, they will almost to the end, they can collapse. Some people, they would, when they take, for example, people who have the sihr, you know, they have the jinns, and you know, they pass. Ulama, they say, do it when you know your consciousness, right? For example, I'm feeling a bit dizzy now, and I know I won't concentrate, because salah needs to be concentrated, you need to be concentrated. If you know, wait until you become fine. Remember, always, Allah has made easy for every believer, for his certain way of, living. Allah is, even if you said, La yukallifu Allahu nafsan, Allah has not burdened a soul, alright? He haven't put heavy duty on it. If you're sick, wait. That's why they say, when the person is sick, when the person is a traveler, when the person is in a young age, you have to pay what they call fitra or fitya, or things like that to cover up, because Allah knows this person is not capable of this, because He created you. He knows what your weaknesses and your strength also. You understand? Any other questions? Afwan.
You said the Masjid Salah to make Salah to start Salah. For example, now I go to the doctor, in my families, for example, say an asr time. Can I make adhur? Can I bring asr to adhur?
You said you have an appointment.
Yeah, and it's asr time, for example, at the doctor. Am I allowed to perform my asr with adhur? Further, we have to first make adhur and asr. Just to dump, yeah.
Remember, you're a traveler. Are you going to be traveling from Belleville South to Durban? some way that you can't come back to that point you were staying in the same day. No? Remember? No. Remember, if I'm in my surrounding area, okay? Some ulama say,
Sorry, Sheikh, I think you misunderstood the question of the tabula.
no, I thought you said that if I go on an appointment, to a doctor appointment.
I know my appointment is an Asr time.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's now Zuhr.
Yes.
Can I bring Asr together with Zuhr?
Yes.
Seeing that
You're having a fear.
Asr is, my appointment is in Asr what?
The thing is, can I add
Okay.
to your question? Fearing that Maghrib is going to come and you're not going to be able to make Asr. Is that the question?
Yeah, basically.
That's different.
No, that's a
No,
different. That's not the
but-
Musafir
but
situation.
For example, it's now Zuhr, okay? Now my appointment says
It's Asr time, on the right Asr.
Asr is 3:30, for example. So I must be at the doctor at 3:30, spot on. So now I have to make Zuhr. Not knowingly, I'm not going to perform Asr. Can I bring Asr also to
No,
Zuhr?
Uncle Ulam. No. The thing is, that's a different mas'ala. That's not the mas'ala. When it comes to, you remember, we were talking about the traveling situation. But that is a different mas'ala and a different fatwa. Okay? Me as Muhammad, I'm not capable. I can't give you, can you jump that salah, make it? Allahu Alam, I'm not sure. I think it was asked someone. I can find out for you, but my understanding, I'm not sure. Because the only thing I know that you can make a jump salah or together two salahs is when you're musafir, that you can't be back to the place where you are as a resident.
I understand the question from the tabula. The question of the tabula is that he is not sure if he's going to be able to make
Asr
on time before Maghrib's will come in.
No, but hold on.
No, I'm talking about.
Remember, we can't be too quick and we can't be quick answering things because remember, at the end of the day,
Find out, Sheikh.
no, to find out is a good thing.
Yeah, find
But at the end of the day, I don't want to say something that's been recorded on this side and this side be heard and you guys take it and then I must be standing there with Qiyamah like, hey,
I think this one is
you answered Uncle Ghulam in a different way. But I'll find answer for you, bi'idhnillah. Jazakumullah khair. Yes? You know the question? One thing I wanted to, okay, Umar, before just when you go, let me just add one thing. As I said to you, there's always a symbol that you give out, a sign, that when a person comes to you, approach you, he knows that you're in a form of that raka'ah, you're in that form of salah, in that position, all right? They say the imam, if you are leading, all right? Remember, imam can only, as the Sheikh mentioned last night, that form that he said is right, where imam can be a person that's knowledgeable and that. But in case we are three, and all three of us, we have the same ilm, we select from each other, all right? One person becomes imam. Now, that person becomes imam. Say, for example, we are making a salah and then other people saw us making salah. They say for that imam, when he's sitting for the last tashahhud, okay? The last, tahiyyat, they say he has to sit in this form, all right? Where the person behind him can understand he's in his last raka'ah, he's completing his salah, okay? But when he is in the first one, he can go for the normal one we did, this form, okay? Where I know the imam has another 2 more raka'ah or another 1 more raka'ah to do, okay? Which means that's just a small, slight, have you seen? I'm sorry, repeat. Uncle, Brother Umar, Bismillah.
Like what happened tonight, I was working, Maghrib was still working. And usually I come home about say quarter past 6, 20 past 6. But today something happened at work. I came home about say 20 to 7. And I knew there was classes tonight and I had to rush. I think it was quarter to 7 already. I had to rush. So I missed Maghrib. But I made Isha tonight. But now that everything is finished, I'm gonna go home. Then I can still make my Maghrib.
Look. There's a very fiqh understanding, okay? That is common all 4 madhabs. That is a salah. The only way you can postpone a salah is when you have a fear for your health, right? Or for your fear for your life. The reason I'm saying is For example, now I left work, right? In my work, the surrounding, the company, the rules is like, maybe say for example the rules is not, they're not allowed to do any form from ibadah in this building, right? And if I go outside, I'm scared of people might hurt me and stab me while I'm doing my salah, or rob me, things like that. To postpone, that's permissible, that's darura, right? But if you have, for example, the country we live in, it's a free country, right? Where I can perform my ibadah how I want. If I have the authority or I have permissible by the company, I can perform my salah. Even if I have to go to the next mall, I can just put my musalla and perform it, then you can do it. But if you can't, you have a fear for your salah, or you fear for any circumstances, or the company will have an issue, all that, I can't postpone my salah. Another thing, Umar, not only you, the rest is that Farad Salah, anything can come, anything. I'm not talking about your safety. Safety is another story, all right? But if I know, as Umar said, now I was rushing for my classes, remember, pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is first, then comes everything, all right? That's why everything comes Allah, then other things. And that is your salah. To please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to obey what He says, it's Him first, then you do whatever other things that you have to please your parents, your kids, anything like that. And the second thing I wanted to add to it is that for example, I forgot Salatul Maghrib. I realized I heard the Isha Adhan, or Isha Iqamah. First I have to do the salah that's on the time. What is that? Isha. I do Isha. When I complete Isha, then I do Maghrib. Because the Surah says, do the salah that's that time. Then you cover up the salah that you forgot, or you slipped your mind, because we're insan, you forget. As our Shaykh last night said that, Ibn Adam, our father even forgot. He slipped that Allah said don't eat from that tree, and he ate it. Alright? It's not something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hate him for it, or doesn't dislike him. It's because something He created him. He knew that He created him. Alright? Okay, you said we wanted to ask something else. That's it. Yes. I think I'll wrap up the class, bi'idhnillah. Okay, جزاكم الله خيرا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا إنك جامع الناس ليوم لا ريب فيه لكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خيرا.